Wait, stop scrolling right now because what happened in Texas just completely redefined everything we thought we knew about Jimin and Jungkook. Seriously, take a deep breath, grab your favorite drink, and sit down, because the events of last night were not on anyone's bingo card. Imagine this. It's literally less than 24 hours before one of the most anticipated, high-energy, stadium-shaking concerts of the entire tour. The city is buzzing, thousands of fans are already camped outside. The energy in Houston is absolutely electric, and behind closed doors, the tension, the hype, and the emotions are reaching a literal boiling point. But while the entire world is looking at the stage, looking at the set lists, and obsessing over soundcheck videos, something far more intriguing, far more intimate, and undeniably loud was happening right inside their private quarters. Welcome back to Jimin Verse, your absolute ultimate sanctuary for all things Jimin, Jungkook, and that unbeatable, undeniable synergy that keeps us all up until 3 in the morning. If you love deep dive analysis, real unscripted moments, and the kind of connection that makes your heart completely melt, you are in the right place. Today, we are diving headfirst into Texas, baby. Because what went down just one night before the big show wasn't just a regular pre-concert routine. No, no, no. The receipts, the vibes, the subtle glances, the shared space, and the sheer closeness of Jimin and Jungkook in Texas have sent the entire USA fandom into a state of absolute beautiful chaos. Let's set the scene properly, okay? Texas is huge. Everything is bigger in Texas, right? The energy, the heat, the crowd. But somehow, amidst all that massive scale, Jimin and Jungkook managed to create a tiny, unbreakable bubble of their own. Picture the quiet after a grueling, hours-long rehearsal. The stage lights are off, the dancers are back at their hotels, the staff is running around frantically checking microphones, wardrobes, and schedules. Everyone is exhausted. Anyone else would just slip into their individual rooms, order room service, put on noise-canceling headphones, and completely pass out until call time the next day. Right, that is what normal, sensible, tired touring artists do. But we are not talking about normal artists here. We are talking about Jimin and Jungkook, the duo that defies every single standard rule of personal space on the planet. Instead of retreating into their own separate suites to get some rest, eyewitnesses, staff updates, and subtle social media breadcrumbs revealed something that made all of us instantly hold our breath. They stayed together. Not just hanging out for a quick meal, not just running through choreography one last time. No, they chose to spend the entire night before the biggest night of the tour right next to each other, locked in their own world, closer than ever. Now, why does this matter so much? Why is the internet currently breaking down into tears and caps lock over a simple evening before a concert? Because Texas represents a whole new chapter for them. If you've been following their journey in the States so far, you know that the vibe on this US leg has been completely off the charts. There is a newfound freedom, a relaxed confidence, and an overwhelming sense of warmth between the two of them that we haven't seen in a very long time. They seem totally unbothered by the noise, completely unbothered by the cameras, and entirely focused on each other's presence. Let's break down what actually happened on that quiet, Texas night, step by step, because the details are far too good to miss. Earlier that afternoon, during soundcheck, you could already feel the tension building. But it wasn't bad tension. It was that classic, playful, jittery pre-show excitement. Jimin was running around the stage in his oversized hoodie, high-noting like his life depended on it, while Jungkook was low-key tracking his every move with that hyper-focused gaze we all recognize from miles away. Whenever Jimin went left, Jungkook casually drifted left. Whenever Jimin cracked a joke into his mic, Jungkook was the very first person, and sometimes the loudest person, to burst out laughing, right on cue. The chemistry during soundcheck alone was already giving us butterflies, but nobody was prepared for what would happen after the stadium emptied out. When night fell over Texas, the atmosphere completely shifted. While the stadium lights dimmed and the production team wrapped up, rumors began swirling among local staff about how the members were winding down. And according to multiple subtle updates, Jimin and Jungkook did not go back to separate floors, nor did they lock themselves away in isolated rooms. Instead, they ended up sharing a private lounge area late into the midnight hours. Can we just pause for a second and talk about that? Imagine being so comfortable with someone, so anchored by their presence, that after working together for 10+ hours in a high-stress environment, your ultimate way to relax and unpack your mind is to spend even more hours together, just the two of you. Word spread that they were listening to music, reviewing stage footage, laughing, and just talking until the early morning. And it wasn't just formal performance review work, guys. Fans who spotted glimpses of their late-night setup mentioned how soft, relaxed, and utterly comfortable the atmosphere was. Jungkook, known for his relentless energy, was seen just casually sitting by Jimin, completely at ease, all that signature performance intensity melting away into pure warmth. And Jimin was his absolute sweet, radiant self, completely relaxed in Jungkook's proximity, radiating that effortless comfort that only happens when he is with his favorite person. Think about how much trust that requires. Touring in the United States is intense. The travel, the time zones, the intense media scrutiny, the thousands of screaming fans, it's an incredible experience, but it's also physically and mentally draining. In moments like that, people naturally seek comfort. They look for their home base. They look for the person who makes them feel safe, grounded, and understood without having to say a single word. And for Jimin and Jungkook, Texas proved once again that they are each other's safe space. They are each other's home away from home, thousands of miles across the globe. Let's talk about the specific dynamics of that night, because this is where things get really deep. Have you noticed how their dynamic has evolved over the years? Back in the early days, it was all about the chaotic teasing, the playful banter, the classic Haeyoung-Dongsing push and pull. But now, in this current era, there is a profound, quiet maturity to their bond that is breathtaking to witness. They don't need to do over-the-top things to show how close they are. It's in the small stuff. It's in the way Jungkook instinctively reaches out to steady Jimin when he's laughing too hard. It's in the way Jimin softly places a hand on Jungkook's shoulder when he senses Jungkook is feeling stressed or overthinking a performance element. On that night in Texas, right before taking over one of the biggest stages in America, they weren't focused on the massive pressure on their shoulders. They were focused on keeping each other grounded. Sources mentioned they ordered late-night food, chilled out on the sofa, and were practically attached at the hip while watching videos on a tablet. Just two boys who have traveled the entire world together, shared the same dreams, fought through the same struggles, and are now sitting side by side on top of the world, still choosing each other's company over anything else. If that doesn't make your heart swell, I don't know what will. And let's not ignore the reaction from the USA side of the fandom. The moment news and hints about their late-night Texas cozy vibes leaked out onto social media, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram completely blew up. USA fans were literally losing their minds. Tags were trending, edits were being made at lightning speed, and everyone was screaming about how Texas Jikook hit entirely different. There's just something about the broad American landscape, the warm southern nights, and the sheer epic scale of a Texas venue that makes their intimacy stand out even more. It's like a movie scene. The big, wild world outside, and the two of them inside, totally locked into their own shared universe. What makes this Texas night so special compared to other tour stops? Let's dissect it. In some cities, schedule demands are so tight that artists barely have 5 minutes to breathe between rehearsals, meetings, and sleep. But in Texas, there was this rare, beautiful beat of stillness before the storm. And how did they use that stillness? They didn't isolate. They connected. They spent those precious hours reinforcing that quiet, powerful bond that fuels their incredible onstage energy. Because let's be real for a minute. When Jimin and Jungkook are solid, relaxed, and happy with each other off stage, their on-stage dynamic becomes completely unstoppable. You can literally see it in their performances. The chemistry isn't something you can rehearse or fake for the crowd. You can't fake the eye contact during duet parts. You can't fake the spontaneous ad-libs, the unscripted hugs, the way their voices blend together seamlessly, or the way they physically synchronize without even looking at one another. That iconic stage magic doesn't just appear out of thin air when the curtain goes up. It is built in moments like that quiet Texas night before the show. It's built in those late-night conversations, the shared laughter, the quiet mutual support when the rest of the world is sleeping. Imagine being in that room for a second. The soft ambient lighting, Texas city lights glowing through the hotel windows, background music softly playing, and these two global superstars just being, well, Jimin and Jungkook. No idol personas, no grand expectations, just two soulmates reflecting on how far they've come and getting ready to conquer yet another city together. Jungkook has always had this protective, fiercely loyal aura around Jimin. Have you noticed that? Whenever they are in unfamiliar settings or navigating heavy international schedules, Jungkook's attentiveness toward Jimin goes up by 1,000%. He checks on him, he lingers nearby, he makes sure Jimin is comfortable. And Jimin, with his boundless empathy, warmth, and intuitive understanding, knows exactly how to make Jungkook feel grounded, calm, and deeply appreciated. They balance each other in a way that feels almost predestined. One is fire and strength, the other is grace and warmth. Put them together on a quiet night in Texas, and you get an unbreakable bond that no distance, no pressure, and no chaotic tour schedule can ever diminish. As the morning of the concert finally approached, staff reported that both of them appeared incredibly refreshed, super bright, and completely in sync. They walked into morning rehearsals not as two stressed artists carrying the weight of a massive stadium show, but as a unit, smiling, sharing inside jokes, and radiating an energy so positive that it lifted the spirits of the entire crew. That is the Jikook effect, guys. It's not just about how cute they look together, though, let's be honest, They look stunning. It's about how they lift each other up and make every challenge feel effortless. When the concert finally kicked off later that evening, every single person in that Texas stadium could feel the aftermath of that special night. The energy was electric. Their interactions on stage were freer, warmer, and more intense than ever. Every time they crossed paths on the catwalk, the entire stadium erupted because the love, respect, and deep affection between them were completely radiant. You could literally trace the line from their quiet, cozy night before the concert straight to the explosive, beautiful harmony they delivered on stage for thousands of fans. It just goes to show that no matter where they are in the world, whether they are in Seoul, Tokyo, Los Angeles, or deep in the heart of Texas, the core of who they are together never changes. If anything, it only grows stronger, deeper, and more resilient with time. They continue to show us, over and over again, that true connection doesn't fade under pressure. It shines brighter. I mean, can we just take a moment to appreciate how lucky we are to witness this era of their lives? To see them so confident, so close, and so genuinely happy in each other's presence, it's truly a gift. Texas gave us unforgettable memories, incredible stage moments, and above all, proof that one night before the show, Jimin and Jungkook were right where they belonged, staying closer than ever, side by side, ready to take on the world together. Now, I want to hear from all of you. How are we feeling after everything that went down in Texas? Did your heart completely melt over their late-night vibes just like mine did? Which moment from the Texas stop was your absolute favorite? Drop your thoughts, your wildest reactions, and all your love in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Jikook's Texas journey, please smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss an update here on Jimin Verse. We are constantly tracking, analyzing, and celebrating every single magical moment. And trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next on this tour. Thank you so much for watching, for sharing the love, and for being the absolute best community ever. Stay warm, keep loving Jikook, and I will see you all in the very next video right here on Jimin Verse. Bye.